Okay, listen. I know I said no monthly TBRs this year. And a lot of times my TBR videos, they don't get a ton of views. But I want to yap about books that I want to read this spring. And it's my channel. So. I just finished my February and March reading wrap up. It took what felt like forever. I was talking for so long. And now I'm just like, wow. Well, normally on my TBRs I want to tell you about the books that I am planning on reading. Like I do like a little mini TBR. It was just too long. And so I decided to kind of break it up into 2 videos. So today is going to be books that I'm currently reading in my spring TBR. So grab a drink, settle in. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. We love to read, crochet. We talk a little bit about beauty, social things, essentially just your internet bestie, talking about everything. Everything's on the table. So today we're talking about books. I'm filming this in early April, and so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the books that I am currently reading, and then some books that I've pulled out that I want to do for April and May. I tried not to pull too many, but of course my eyes are always bigger than the time that I have for reading. So let's talk about the books that I'm currently reading. So in terms of, I have been pretty open about I want to read the Bible this year. I'm so behind. I am going to catch up on my biblical reading this year. I'm not doing this because I'm necessarily like super Christian. It's mostly that I feel like a lot of people who try and tout around the Bible haven't actually read it, and I'm like, you know what? Why am I calling people out when I myself haven't read it? So here we are. This is the New American Bible Revised Edition from the American Bible Society. This is the one I got from Half Price Books. I was raised Catholic, and so I did feel like I should read a Catholic Bible. I tried starting out with the King James Version. Was really weird and hard, and I didn't like the way that it was like structured its sentences. This one I find to be much easier to follow. I also sometimes will read the English Standard Version on my phone, and that one is honestly even easier. It very much streamlines things. So sometimes if I'm like, oh, I can get like a chapter in, I will read that one. But that's where I am on that. Next is actually Wuthering Heights. I kind of joined a book club. I've been invited to a monthly meetup of a book club, and this month they are reading Wuthering Heights. I'm really excited to sit down and talk with people about books. I have started it. I'm definitely only on page like maybe 10. I've been reading on my phone like before I go to bed, but I want to switch over to this edition. I actually read Wuthering Heights last year, and it was okay. I guess I'm excited to see what I think upon a reread. And obviously this is the book on everybody's mind because of the Emerald Fennell adaptation of Wuthering Heights. I'm interested to see how I feel about this upon a reread. I'm interested to see what a group of readers thinks about it, you know, especially if they maybe watch the movie. I realize I don't think I like this edition very much. Oh gosh, the words are so small and the print just like isn't great. So I don't know if maybe I need to find a different edition or what. This is just, you know, what I have, and I should read what I have. And it's a mass market paperback, and they're getting rid of mass market paperbacks. I'm having a hard time with that. But Wuthering Heights, if you don't know what it's about Kathy and Heathcliff, and about their tumultuous, obsessive relationship with one another. But it's not a romance book. It is about like class and racism and obsession, and a lot of things are going on in this book. So that's kind of why I'm interested to read it again, especially so soon. I don't really reread books, so I'm surprised that I'm rereading this so soon. But I'm going to be reading Wuthering Heights this month. This one, I'm only on page like 23. This is When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. This is, what is it, speculative history, while also being like actual history. Is about societies that predate Christianity, but we don't know a lot about them because Christianity, when they came in, they kind of like burned everything to the ground. and were like killing everybody and being like, no, you can't practice any religion that is not ours. I know that there is definitely some speculation on the sources that are used in this book, and Merlin Stone is like an art historian, and so a lot of this like history that she's trying to construct and piece together are based upon like art history artifacts that are found at these sites. So like I said, I'm not really far in. Next, I just started this last night. I actually bought this weekend when I was in Sioux Falls. This is Beautiful Things by Emily Rath. I didn't buy it because this book was so beautiful. I bought it because I love Emily Rath. I actually really liked the Pucking Around series, the Jacksonville Rays, that fictional hockey team. My boo. These are erotic novels, just so you know. Extra super spicy. Most of the time it is like more that than anything else. These are romance books. There's an author's note in here that this is supposed to be a slow burn Regency romance, but it's also a why choose. So we have one girl, three gentlemen. Female main character will have multiple male suitors, and in parentheses she writes Austen approved, and she won't choose just one in the end. And then in parentheses again it says Emily approved. So I thought that was cute. I'm only on page 24 and we've already met, I think, all three of our suitors. So I'm interested to see where it kind of goes from here, since everyone's already like starting to get to know each other a little bit. This is about Rosalie. She's 22, unmarried, nearly destitute, and her suitors are going to be Lieutenant Renly, Mr. Burke, and Lord James. That's all I need to know. I'm just like, wow. Honestly, the best time to read it too, with Bridgerton season 4 like just having, you know, wrapped up. Even though I did not watch season 4. Nothing in particular was like keeping me from it. I don't know. I haven't watched any of the Bridgerton stuff as it comes out. I always watch it like maybe a year later. When I was talking with a friend about it, I was like, I've seen a lot of the discourse on it, and she was like, yeah, it was pretty much cut and dry Cinderella. Like, we love to see it, but also like there wasn't anything too groundbreaking, I guess we'll say. I'm very excited for season 5 though. I am very excited to see what they do with these women's storylines, and I'm very, very excited about that. Okay, anyway, moving on from Regency. This is Ray Russell's Haunted Castles, The Complete Gothic Stories. I am loving this so far. I finished Sardonicus, which is the first story. So they call them like the triple S stories. So we have Sardonicus, Sagittarius, and Sanguinaris. And then we have a few other ones, and I'm almost done with Sagittarius. Ray Russell is kind of like a forgotten Gothic author. He was an executive editor of Playboy, which that's all it says, like no other context on what Playboy is, but he published such writers as Ray Bradbury, the guy who wrote Fahrenheit 451, Kurt Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse-Five, Richard Matheson, Robert Bloch, and Charles Beaumont. So he was like really, really, really prominent in these places. He also won the World Fantasy Award for Lifetime Achievement in 1991 and passed away in 1999. So this man was like a really big deal, and I've never heard anybody talk about him. It's so crazy. The stories, I like Gothic when they do a good job with their slowness. Like, I don't mind slow as long as it isn't snail's pace. So Sardonicus is about Robert, who is called to a castle of a woman who is now married. He like had a crush on her when they were like in their early 20s being socialites in London. And he's being called there for her husband, Sardonicus, because he has a facial abnormality that he wants fixed. And then the second one is basically like Jack the Ripper and Palais. Very French. This second story is very French, but they're really good so far. I'm really having a good time. They're very easy to read. I definitely thought they would be a little bit more inaccessible, but I'm very happy, interested to see how the rest of them go. I definitely think I'm going to devour this. I also did not think that I was going to be as interested as I am, being that it's not spooky season at all, but I'm a spooky all year round kind of person, so it just kind of worked. I bought that in Sioux Falls over this past weekend. My boyfriend and I were, we had a couple extra hours to spare, and I was like, oh, let's just like grab our books and read, but I didn't have any of the books I was currently reading, so I grabbed that. So good. We had to like, we hung out at a bar for a few hours just like reading, and I was like like just flying. It was so good. And then when it comes to books that I've like quote unquote like kind of started, the last one I have is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is a retelling of the fall of House of Usher. I've read 4 pages, so like, have I even really started reading it? No, I haven't even logged it in Fable yet. A reimagining of it, so a gentleman's gonna go to a house and a woman is going to die and probably haunt them. And that's what I know about the fall of the House of Usher, because I read that last month. So I definitely want to read this. Really, really short. There's no reason why I couldn't get through this. For another book club thing, this is like a Fable book club that I'm a part of. That's why I read Moby Dick. This one is Anne of Green Gables. This is just the first one. They are doing the entire 9 books of the Anne of Green Gables series. I've never read this. I've heard great things, so excited to read that. This is about Anne Shirley, who like lives in a white farmhouse called Green Gables. It's like a children's fiction book, and she's spunky and I guess an orphan who these people are fostering her, I'm guessing. Next is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is on my 26 books to read in 2026. This is a novel in verse about a girl, Ziamora, who joins a slam poetry club against her mother's wishes, essentially. I'm really excited to read this. I've heard great things. As you can see, it is very well decorated. It is a very well awarded book. So definitely excited to get into this one. Next, another young adult book it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. I read most of this book when I was in high school, actually, but I never finished it. And so this is about Craig Gilner, who is kind of an overachiever. He like wants to do everything right, get straight A's, get into the right high school, get into the right college, but he attempts to self-exit one night and checks himself into an institution. And this is mostly about his time there from what I remember and understand. I think that, you know, books like this are prime for prose pieces. So I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna see if I can glean anything from it. Normally my DNFs don't haunt me. This one has haunted me for a long time, many years, like since high school, which was like 10 years ago for me. So definitely gonna finish that. This one, I don't know if I will read this spring, but I really want to. This is also a book that I got at Barnes & Noble over this past weekend. This is Chasing the Wild by Elliot Rose. Look how gorgeous that cover is. And then look at that. I'm not really one for sprayed edges. This is just like what they had. It caught my eye. And so this is the first in a taboo romance series. This one is just like age gapped though, so like, it's like there's still stigma around it. But this is about Lila Birch, who is like the good girl. She meets this guy Colton Wilder. He is twice her age, but her dream man. Oh, it's her ex-boyfriend's father. That's why it's a taboo. There are worse things, I guess. You know, it's her ex-boyfriend's father. I don't mind. I don't mind that. I don't know. I guess like there are some taboos that I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. Ex-boyfriend's father. Pfft. I saw this other one that was like another one in this series, because I was kind of like looking through the series at large, and it was like her father's adopted brother. We're all adults here, right? But I'm excited to see what I feel about this. I did look up all the trigger warnings. Everything seems like pretty okay to me. And from looking at like the inside covers, they have this like kind of art in here. I think that all the women might be plus sized, or at least like, you know, this first one, the woman looks like that. And then also in the other like art inserts, the women were like bigger. And I'm like, hell yeah, we'd love a plus size romance. So, I mean, we'll see. Maybe that's deceptive. It's a cowboy romance. It's a Crimson Ridge novel. So we'll see. These next 3 all kind of go together, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about them. I want to do like a small bite-sized political reading vlog. So we have Common Sense by Thomas Paine, The American Crisis 1. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, The Social Contract. And then we have The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So yeah, little political girly. She's politically literate. Not yet, but I will be once I read these. And then the last one is one that I definitely want to do for some sort of like reading vlog. These aren't all the books in the series, but this, I'm sure anyone who is around my age knows exactly what this is. This is Life as We Knew It by Susan Beth Pfeffer. The weather finally broke for good. This is about an asteroid that hits the moon and then like no more sun, essentially, and a lot of it is about survival. And I remember this book going like super mega viral. I've read this one, and then The Dead and the Gone is the second one, and then This World We Live In. I read those 3, but then there's a last one, and I just remember really liking this. Something about it just like scratched my little brain right, especially in the time of like the dystopian and the paranormal romance. Something about this just slotted right in perfectly. When was this published? 2006. Yeah, so I just remember this book was like everywhere when I was younger. And so then this is the third book, because the first 2 are like companions of each other. This one takes place in Pennsylvania and the second one takes place in New York. And so this follows a young woman. The second one, the companion one, follows a young man, and they then like when worlds collide in this one. So yeah, I would really love to do like a revisiting books that I read as a kid. I would love to like start that as a series. Maybe once speech is done, I can really like put my nose to the grindstone about it. I just need to like actually do it. Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know what you're wanting to read this spring. I would love to know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you go. It really helps me out. I would love to have you stick around and we can talk more about books or crafting or beauty stuff. Let's just have some like girl chat. Let's have some girl chat on the internet. Would love to have you here with me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.